Welcome back everyone to Angela's Craft Room. Today I've got a little off the page project for you. It's a 2018 desk calendar and matching post-it note holder. So this is the calendar which I've made a little stand that we put inside there so it will stand up on your desk. And then I've also made the matching sticky note folder to go with it. So I do markets, and so this is just another little project that I've made to sell at my market once a month. So I'm going to be doing a few off the page easy projects like these, so you might be able to use them as well. So let's get started. So to start with, I'm going to use basic black. So this piece here is 11 inches long by 4 1/4 inches wide, and then I've scored that at 5 1/2 inches. Then we're just going to burnish that. Right. Then we need some DSP to put on there, some designer series paper. Now we must make sure it's all going in the same direction when you're cutting it, so that's my big tip. So I'm just going to bring in a piece of grid paper just so I can line up my designer series paper. So to start with, we'll put this piece here down the bottom, and this is a really easy project to do. It's ideal for gift giving, and it's absolutely ideal for markets. So just make sure that your design series paper has been cut the same way and that you are putting it down. Now I'm just lining it up with the squares. I'm just coming up by one square, and it doesn't matter how big your squares are or anything like that. It's just purely that's just how I line up my design series paper for this particular project, because that way I know that it's straight. And I do use the multi-purpose liquid glue because that does allow me some time to move it if I need to, if it's not completely straight. So then we'll just pop this piece on the top, and I'll give you the measurements that I've used, but you don't have to stick to these measurements. You might like to make your design series paper a bit bigger or smaller. This is just how I do this particular project. I've made so many of them now that so I shouldn't be making any mistakes. So I'm just coming down from the top, so it's got a nice border, and I'm just using the grid paper because then I'm just coming down by my one square. I have been asked how big the squares are. It doesn't matter. I purely do it this way so that I know that it's straight. So that's fine. So that's the front so far. Okay. Then I have these little mini 2018 calendars, and I'm going to back that onto a piece of designer series paper, and to do that I'm using my tear and tape, because people are going to be pulling these, they're going to be pulling off the months as we go through the year, and so you need something quite strong so that they aren't going to pull off the whole calendar, so they're only going to pull off month by month. So I like to put 3 strips of the tear and tape across there. Just remove that for now, I don't need that. Then just pop my glue back upside down so it doesn't block. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to remove the tear and tape. And this is just such an easy and quick project to do. So we've removed that, and as we know, the tear and tape is very strong. So we're just going to, I'm just going to have that sitting there. And the main reason that I'm putting this on the DSP, I just want a little border to go around my calendar. You don't have to do that, but I just think it looks a bit nicer when you've got a little border around. And then I'm also going to put 3 strips of tear and tape on the back of this as well. Just one more. Then we're just going to remove that. And then we're just going to bring that piece back in, which is the base for our calendar desk holder. Now we're just going to, I'm just literally eyeballing it and just popping it down. And be careful, because you know once you put your tear and tape down it won't come back up. So that's how easy it is to make that front piece. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make the little piece that I showed you in between to help it stand. So that piece is 4 1/4 inches by 4 inches. Okay, and then we, on the 4-inch side, we're going to, we've scored that at 1 inch, 2 inch and 3 inch. And then we're just going to make a mountain fold, a valley fold, and another mountain fold. So you've got that that's going to sit inside your card. So you can see I've got the mountain folds, 2 mountain folds. So just burnish them really well. Like that. We want them nice and crisp, so they're going to hold our calendar up on our desk with no problems. And then we're just going to put on each side 2 strips of tear and tape. I have seen a few of these on YouTube, but I've changed mine a little bit to make it a lot simpler, because I need to make so many of them that I just wanted it to be very simple. I mean, you can add, I do add a little bit of ribbon sometimes, and I mean you can add lace, you can add embellishments, you know, if it was for a gift it wouldn't really matter, but when you're making them for a market, you're trying to keep the expense down a little bit. So then we're just going to take it off one side first. Okay. Now it needs to sit with the 2 mountain folds. So the two mountain folds need to be sitting up like that. Hopefully you can see that. So when you put this down, you don't want this to be flush to the bottom of the card. I'm calling it a card, but the front. You don't want it to be flush along here. You just want it to be a little bit up a little bit, because when this is standing, you want it to stand, this part to be standing, touching the desk. You want this part to be touching the desk, not the concertina piece that we're putting inside. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I'm putting it in correctly. So I'm just going to eyeball that. So I just put that down a little bit. So hopefully you can see, almost probably because it's black it's a bit hard, but I haven't put it right down to the bottom here. I have most probably about 1/8 of an inch up, but it's no hard and fast rule. Now before we stick that down there, I want to add a little piece of ribbon across here. So what I like to do is I like to put a little piece of tearing tape across the back, and once it's together, you're not going to see this, but this is how I like to apply my ribbon. Off. Then we're going to, that's the front piece. I'm just going to place that as straight as I can across the tearing tape, like that. So then just hold that out, and then we're going to remove these, and you will get to do it the way you want to do it. So if we've done that correctly, all we need to do after removing the tearing tape is just bring this down and just smooth it on there, and you've got your concertina piece there. So that's how easy it is. And then we just need to, I just tie a false knot. Try and do it upside down. Just tie the false knot. Work out which way it's going to sit for me, and just that, and we're just going to snip off the ends. Like that, and then we've got our little calendar. So we'll set that aside. That's finished. That's how easy that is. And then we've got another piece of cardstock, which is 7 inches long by 3.5, and then on the long side, on the 7 inch side, I scored that at 3 1/4 inches and 3 3/4 inches. And then we're just going to burnish on those two sides like that. And this makes the cover for our sticky notes. So that's how easy it is. So that's what I mean. If you're not going to be putting in as many sticky notes as you'd have to work out how wide you want this spine to be. But it works for me, so we'll just put some, I like to put 3 strips of tear and tape on the back of my sticky note pad. And I wouldn't recommend that you use anything but tear and tape when you're gluing these parts down, like the calendar and the sticky notes. I just don't think it would hold the test of time. And then I'm just going to pull that up. I just find using tweezers at the end, it's a lot easier to get that up. When you're having to make a few, you sort of get to the point that you know how you want to do it. And you could make quite a few of these very quickly. So I'm just going to open that up. Now, when I put this down on the folded line, and I know it's black, I think you can just see it there. So there's one folded line there and one there. So this one here, I'm going to put this sticky notes on this side, so I want it to sit underneath that fold line, because if you sit it too close to it, it won't fold nice and neatly. And just make sure it's inside the bottom as well. Like that. And then that's just going to fold over like that. And it's not going to come. It's not going to come off with that tear and tape there. Okay. And then we just have a final piece of designer series paper that's going to go there. And that piece measures 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/8. So we'll just glue that piece down. So just make sure it's going down the right way. It might need to go. No, I was right the first time. So just down like that. And it just makes it a nice matching set that way. Okay. So then you've got the nice matching set. Now you can see how easy that was to make. So now what I do is also another product that Stampin' Up brought out were these acetate, this is one put together, it's the acetate folders. I call them folders. They come in a pack of 10. Now they're in your occasions catalogue that was published on the 1st of September 2017, and it's all they come flat like that, and as I say, you get 10, and I just open it up like that, like so, fold it on the, you need to fold it on the pre-scored lines because it's quite thick it's quite thick acetate, and so I usually just do the sides first. Now I'll give you a couple of tips. These little flaps here, you need to fold them down, but then when you're folding this down, you need to make sure that flap is sitting up like that. Otherwise, if it's down, it's not going to close correctly. And you also need to fold on the top two score lines. So that's the first one. And then you've got another one here. Sorry, I went out of camera view there. Do apologise. And just want to make sure those flaps are at the top, and then it should so make sure these flaps here are at the top, and you should be able to just pop it in. This is the most fiddly part of the project. Everything else is super simple. I mean, this is simple, it just can be a bit fiddly, and I'm trying to do it so I can show you as well. So I'm just going to pop my hand inside. Just crease on those folds so you can see it's coming together. Push that one of those flap on one side, and this is what I mean, that if the flap isn't up, it won't close properly. So go out a little bit for you. Oops. Go out a little bit. So then you've got like so, and then because this concertine's that's gonna lie flat, so I just pop that inside the acetate, and then what I think works best for me is before I push the calendar all the way in, I'm just going to slide that down. So it sits like so, and then the same at the top. You just want to have those flaps down, but I'm really hoping that they carry these acetate containers, folders, whatever you want to call them, over, because I can see I'm going to have to order quite a few to stock up on them, because they're just perfect for what I use them for. You can fit about 3 full-size cards in there as well, so that's another nice ideal for a gift as well. So, and then all I did then was I printed out that a little, because I'm having these at the market, just a little label which says 2018 desk calendar and post-it note holder, and then I just apply this. I only printed that off on just normal photocopy paper and printed them out, so you know I don't need to use the multi-purpose glue in this instance. So just the snail is quite good, and then I'm just going to place that just a little bit off from the bottom, try and have it straight, and that's another one all ready for my market day. So I really love this project, I absolutely love it. So yeah, just have a try, because I will try and do some more different off the page projects for you as I make them for the market. But I just wanted to show you, this is a new design series paper. These are a few others I've made. Now this is all from the Year of Cheer design series paper. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is a Christmas paper, but I find that it is a universal Christmas paper that you could use all year round. You could use for wedding invites, you could use it for anything. And as you see, I've made some using for my calendar and post-it note holders, the set. So this is all using the Year of Cheer designer series paper. This one I've just used the base as basic black, this base is cherry cobbler, and this base is Sahara sand. So they're very easy to make, and I'd highly recommend the acetate folders. I just love them. And this is the one we did today. So until next time, happy crafting, and thank you so much for joining me at my YouTube channel today. Till next time, bye.